Hello and a very good morning. You're watching News on the Hour this Sunday morning. I am Nancy Kohli, and right out at the start we wish you a very happy Easter. Well, over the next 1 hour we'll get you all the news from across the nation, international, sports and business updates. There's a lot making it to the headlines this morning. We'll get you all of that. Stay with us for the next 1 hour, but first a look at the headlines. 2 Naxals gunned down in an encounter in the Bijapur district of Chhattisgarh. 8 Jawans martyred and 30 others injured in the encounter, while 15 Jawans go missing. Union Home Minister Amit Shah speaks with the Chhattisgarh Chief Minister, asked the DG CRPF to visit the state to take stock of the situation. Campaigning to conclude today in Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Puducherry, and for the third phase of polling in Assam and West Bengal. The leaders from different political parties to attend rallies and meetings across the states today. India's cumulative vaccination coverage crosses 7.59 crore doses. Meanwhile, 8 states and union territories report a steep rise in the daily new cases. 7-day night curfew in Pune from today. Odisha orders night curfew in 10 districts from Monday. Bihar government orders closure of the schools and the colleges from 5th to 11th April. As COVID-19 cases show surge globally, Bangladesh announces countrywide lockdown from Monday. Turkey reports highest number of cases on a single day. Suez Canal returns to normal traffic as all the ships stranded by the grounding of the giant container ship the Ever Given crossed through the waterway. The authorities say the investigations to the reasons of the grounding may take 2 more days. Jordanian military warns King Abdullah's half-brother Prince Hamza bin Hussein to halt the actions undermining country security and stability. Meanwhile, Prince says he is held under house arrest. In sports news, Ashley Barty clinches second consecutive Miami Open women's title, winning 6-3, 4-0 before her opponent Bianca retires due to injury. Italian Jannik Sinner to take on Polish Hubert Hurkacz in the men's final today. The world celebrates Easter today to commemorate the resurrection of Jesus Christ. President, Vice President, Prime Minister extend the Easter greetings. Pope Francis hopes for the post-pandemic rebirth at the Easter Vigil. And first up, news from Chhattisgarh, where at least 2 Naxals have been gunned down in an encounter in the Bijapur district of Bastar region on Saturday. 8 Jawans were also martyred in the encounter, while 30 others are injured. And as per the latest inputs coming in, 15 Jawans are still missing. Now, following specific inputs about the presence of Naxals in the South Bastar area, the security forces had launched an intensive search operation on Friday night. Nearly 2,000 personnel of the CRPF, the Cobra Battalion, as well as the District Reserve Guard and the Special Task Force were deployed in this operation. The Naxals ambushed the security forces on the border of Sukma and Bijapur district at around 12 noon on Saturday. The rebels opened fire at the security forces, leading to a fierce gun battle. The encounter lasted about 3 hours. And after the incident, additional reinforcements were rushed to the spot. Now, Prime Minister Modi has extended his condolences to the families of the martyrs. In a tweet, the Prime Minister has said, and I quote, "My thoughts are with the families of those martyred while fighting Maoists in Chhattisgarh. The sacrifices of the brave martyrs will never be forgotten. May the injured recover at the earliest." And Union Home Minister Amit Shah has also condoled the martyrdom of the brave security personnel. The Home Minister in a tweet has said, and I quote, "I bow to the sacrifices of our brave security personnel martyred while fighting Maoists in Chhattisgarh. The nation will never forget their valor. My condolences are with their families. We'll continue our fight against these enemies of peace and progress. May the injured recover soon, unquote. And the Union Home Minister has spoken with Chhattisgarh Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel regarding the Naxal attack on the security forces at the Sukma-Bijapur border yesterday. The Home Minister has also asked the CRPF Director General to go to the state to take stock of the situation. We'll keep getting you more updates from Chhattisgarh, but moving on now to news from the poll-bound states and Union Territory. While the campaigning will end this evening for the assembly elections in Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Puducherry, and the third phase of polling in Assam and West Bengal. While single-phase polling will take place in Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Puducherry on Tuesday the 6th of April, Assam and West Bengal will also witness the third phase of polling the same day. The by-polls to Kanyakumari Lok Sabha seat in Tamil Nadu and Malappuram parliamentary constituency in Kerala will also be conducted simultaneously. The voting for 40 assembly seats in Assam and 31 seats in West Bengal will also take place in this phase. On Tuesday, the single-phase polling is taking place for 234 assembly seats in Tamil Nadu, 140 constituencies in Kerala and 30 assembly seats in Puducherry. Now, meanwhile, the campaigning for the 6th of April assembly elections in 4 states and 1 union territory has reached its feverish pitch, and senior leaders and star campaigners from all the political parties are holding rallies to garner support in their favor. Union Home Minister and senior BJP leader Amit Shah held public rallies in Assam's Barty, Bhawanipur and Sualkuchi. Finance Minister and senior BJP leader Nirmala Sitharaman will also hold public rallies and road shows in Kerala, while the BJP National President JP Nadda will campaign in Puducherry and Tamil Nadu. Now, as the campaigning will end this evening for third and the final phase of the assembly elections in Assam, our correspondent Vishal Barrister spoke with the Assam Chief Minister Sarbananda Sonowal to take stock of the situation and understand the mood of the voters in the state. Listening.
I have with me the Chief Minister. Let's talk to him and find out how comfortable is he while BJP is claiming two-thirds majority.
Because in the last 5 years, whatever quality governance we have provided to the people of Assam, so that is why the people are happy, people got justice, people got the security of life and property, and people got an environment of peace and tranquility. We have tried from the day one, because we knew that during the Congress regime people had to suffer a lot because due to their misrule, corrupt practices and all the canvassing and all, nepotism, Congress have always been torturing the people of Assam. That is why they wanted someone to rescue them from this environment, difficult situation. So it was BJP ultimately could able to rescue them. We are confident that people of Assam have already decided to bring BJP back to power again.
So when it comes to development, your party is claiming that you've done a lot of development here, but CAA is also an issue for the opposition. So will it be development or CAA for your party?
It's a development, all-round development. Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji has given a lot of interest for our speedy growth, not only to the state of Assam but the entire Northeast. He is the first Prime Minister in the history of independent India, so who has given top priority to our upliftment, to our growth. That is why he has supported connectivity and communication, and also to establish the industry throughout the state, and also in the sector of petroleum and hydrocarbon and a gas sector also. So this is how Honorable Prime Minister has given his heart to the growth of the people of Assam.
How much credit would you give to your leadership and your government if your party wins?
No, of course, it is because of the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi's support and his union, this thing, Council of Ministers. So that's how everyone have extended their support, and that is why it is, of course, it is double engine, Government of India, Government of Assam.
With cameraman Anup, this is Vishal Baristo for DD India, Guwahati.
And let's now go across to our correspondent Vishal Baristo, who's joining us from Guwahati this morning. Vishal, good morning. You've got that exclusive conversation with the Assam Chief Minister Sarbananda Sonowal. We just played that out, and in which he's clearly exuding confidence that BJP will win, BJP will come back to power. It's of course, riding high on the confidence of working for the people of the state, taking forward the development and the good governance agenda of the state government and the central government as well.
Well, a very good morning to you. First of all, I wish you a very happy day of resurrection of the Lord Jesus Christ.
Thank
Happy
you,
Easter
Vishal. Same to you.
and all. Yes, today is the last day of the third and final phase of polling in Assam. The last day of campaigning. Home Minister Amit Shah would be holding 3 rallies, one in Barpeta, Bhawanipur, and also in Kochi in the evening. Yes, indeed. He was very much confident when we spoke to the Chief Minister of Assam, and he said that this is the first time that the party is having a pro-incumbency as far as BJP is concerned, because BJP dethroned the Congress rule for a very long time in the last elections, and also they are very hopeful of this election as well. And it is all because of the vision of the Prime Minister. Remember, Nancy, the Prime Minister is the only Prime Minister who has a record of maximum visits to the Northeast, and it is all on record. So the Prime Minister's vision of Act East, Look East policy has done wonders not only for Assam but also for the whole Northeast, and Assam is the gateway to Northeast. So today is the last day. BJP is very, very confident. Congress, on the other hand, is depending largely on Badruddin Ajmal, and this has drawn a lot of criticism from BJP because it was Tarun Gogoi, the former Chief Minister of Assam.
Right. Okay.
It is surprising that Tarun Gogoi's son Gaurav Gogoi went on and greeted.
Okay, Vishal. Sure. All right, Vishal, we'll try and reconnect.
As the election is concerned,
yes,
is quite confident.
Absolutely, Vishal, absolutely. In fact, you're saying that, of course, and we heard in that interview that you took with the Assam Chief Minister Sarbananda Sonowal, in which, of course, he's very confident that BJP will win because it has worked really hard for the people of the state. And, of course, with Prime Minister Modi's vision and leadership, Northeast has, been brought into the mainstream development of the country, something that has not happened before, 2015. And, of course, this has clearly been the development motto of, Prime Minister Modi-led government here at the center. And, talking about the mood now across the state, of course, 2 crucial phases have gone by. Now, the third and the final phase is on the 6th. How is the mood there of the electorate there? Talking about the high-profile seats there, the high-profile contest that we're looking at, come 6th of April.
Well, absolutely. The mood of the people is quite upbeat. We have seen 2 rounds and around 80% of the voter turnout. This is very, very heartening, not only for the Election Commission, but also for both the political parties, the national parties I'm talking about, and their alliance as well, because when the voters come out in large numbers, it also gives a lot of confidence to the candidates as well. So we are hoping the trend to continue in the third. And when it comes to the issues, Assam has had a long struggle with the development, or long struggle with the floods and also disturbances, especially in the Bodoland area. Last year, the government of India signed the 3rd peace accord with the Bodoland, and since the BJP took to power, and BJP is making it a big issue here in this election, that they haven't had any violent agitation and no incidents of militancy or extremism. But for them, development is the issue, and illegal migration is also an issue for the Bharatiya Janata Party. So these issues are going to dominate in this election, and BJP has promised that they have tried to control floods to a great extent, but when they are given the second chance, it would be totally controlled and Assam would be free of floods, and that is a very good news for the people of Assam. Nancy.
All right, Vishal Barrister, thank you very much for joining us for the moment there from Guwahati and bringing us up to speed as to what really is happening there on the ground. Thanks very much. We'll of course be touching base with you for more regular and subsequent updates there from the poll-bound states. Thanks very much. And also connecting with us at the moment is Abhishek Jha, a correspondent from Rameshwaram in Tamil Nadu. Abhishek, just give us a sense of how really is the political mood there across the state ahead of the voting there on the 6th, a very important day there for the state. Of course, we have seen a very high-pitched battle there, high-voltage campaigning there, in the state. Just take us through the mood that you're witnessing. What is the electorate feeling right now? How is the high-pitched battle between, the political parties panning out across the state?
So Nancy, of course, the aggressive campaign that both sides of the varying, fighting factions, in fact, DMK-led alliance and AIDMK-led alliance is coming to an end today because this is the last day. This will be the last day of campaigning. 6th will be the date when people of Tamil Nadu, after over a month of campaigning and listening to their candidates, will be deciding to vote in whose favor their vote is going to go. Talking about Rameshwar, where currently I am, issues of fishermen is one of the key issue, in fact, along the coastal area of Tamil Nadu, because Tamil Nadu has almost over 1500 kilometers of coastline,
right.
And this is one of the reason why issues related to fishermen, issues related to port development are one of the core issues in this state. In fact, Prime Minister in his rally in Kanyakumari also said that the coastal region of the state has not been given due importance over the years, which has caused not the relevant development that could have happened. And if AIDMK is voted to power again and center's government is remains BJP, the government of Tamil Nadu will have more focus on development of coastal lines. Issue of fishermen is important because from Rameshwaram, if you talk, it's literally stones throw away. Sri Lankan international water, stones throw away. So many times fishermen from India do cross the international water and they unknowingly get caught in the hands of Sri Lankan Navy, and that is one of the key issues. The fishermen of this side wants government to understand that whenever such incidents happen, they do get extracted from Sri Lankan Navy's hand with immediate effect, because the mechanism should be so that it should come into effect very fast, and both the government should have certain established mechanisms so that fishermen of either side should not be spending a lot of time in the custody, and they do get back to business with their boats and their catch.
Right. Okay, you're talking about the significance of fishermen in these elections, and of course, them staying on the coastal areas there of the state. Of course, DMK promising to build houses, pakka dwellings for the fishermen there. What does the AIA-DMK say, and what is the fishermen there, the fishermen community feeling at this point? Do they really feel that whatever is being promised in the manifestos of each of the parties will be fulfilled? How hopeful are they at this point?
So again, Nancy, talking about making dwellings for fishermen, this is a kind of freebies. It's every political party has been promising to deliver so many freebies. But there is also a sentiment among the people that we do want our way of earning to be improved so that we can get a dignified living and dignified amenities of our life by our own self. So provided that if government enables them to have better fishing facility, it enables them to have more financial support for buying their boats, a better communication mechanism, better logistical support to catch their fish and preserve them in cold storage and get them sold into the market. Fish processing units should be there so that they would get a better income on their own catch and they can have a better life. This is what the sentiment is here. In fact, in Kanyakumari, which is almost the 1/3 of fishing business of this state where it's concentrated, people have been demanding of an extension of fishing harbour because of the current size of the fishing harbour. Many boats have to wait for their turns to come so that they can dump their catch and sell them and then go back to fishing. So it actually kills a lot of time in their business, and they want that fishing harbour should be extended. In fact, there is another issue that there is a container port that has to be somewhere in Kanyakumari, which is also a danger to fishermen's livelihood, because
Right.
fishermen may have to switch from their profession, may have to shift their bases from Kanyakumari if that container ports comes up. That is also a political issue in that part of the coastal line of this state.
All right, Abhishek Jha, thanks very much for joining us for the moment from Rameshwaram in Tamil Nadu. We'll keep getting more and regular updates from you there from the pole-bound state there. Thanks very much. And also joining us at the moment is our correspondent Ravi Dhiman. He's joining us from Thiruvananthapuram. Ravi, just take us through the political developments that you're seeing around you. What is the electorate feeling right now? An important day coming up ahead for the people there. What issues are really governing their minds when they go out to vote?
Nancy, the most crucial elections that Kerala will witness, the most crucial round of polling on 6th. As the state, we can say, is standing at crossroads. There are three ways and three major blocks here which are vying for votes, the NDA, UDF and the LDF. The NDA is considered a new entrant, but it has been strengthening with each passing assembly elections, and also in the general elections. And the Prime Minister has had three rallies in Kerala, apart from rallies in the neighbouring Tamil Nadu and Puducherry. The election is very interestingly poised here, as LDF is banking on the Corona kits, the way it tackled the Corona pandemic, while the Congress is banking on the corruption issues that have sprung up against the LDF leadership, and the BJP is banking on a renewed momentum that the party leaders believe is in their favour. There are tailwinds that the BJP leaders believe will prop up the party further. It opened its account in the last election, and the party leaders believe that after whirlwind tour of Prime Minister, the number might go up from a single seat in the assembly.
Right, Ravi, of course, it's being said it's God's own country and it's got its own problems, whether it be about the devastating floods of 2018 or even the life-altering COVID-19 pandemic. But talking this time around, what are you seeing around you? What is the electorate there telling you? What issues are governing their minds this time around?
Well, there are many issues. Nancy, Kerala is known for favouring the anti-incumbency factor. The Kerala voters, the Malayali voters are known to be favour the anti-incumbency. Every time around the elections are here, the narrative is about the government's performance. The narrative is about the anti-incumbency or what points the government didn't follow the manifesto or implement the promises it made.
Right.
This time around, it's a little bit different. Because of the, as you said, because of the natural calamities that befell on this state, and because of many corruption issues. Now, because of that gold scam, the people here are also calling Kerala gold zone country, because of the other scams which have enmeshed many LDF leaders.
Sure.
The Congress is pinning hopes on them. This is also a crucial moment for the Congress party.
Absolutely.
It has been losing its space in many states across India. In Kerala, it's particularly important because Congress leader Rahul Gandhi is an MP, and after he became MP, this is the first assembly elections in Kerala. So Congress leadership is also quite anxious to prove its worth here and do well. And the same is the case with the BJP and the LDF. It is going to be a very interesting election this time around in Kerala.
Absolutely. Thanks very much, Ravi, for joining us and sharing all those details and inputs there from Thiruvananthapuram. We'll be coming back to you and getting all the regular and subsequent inputs there from the pole-bound state. Thanks very much. And with that, we're taking a short break here, but there's still much more coming up here on News on the Hour. Stay with us.
To Rising India, India's voice on global platforms. Latest news from India and around the world. In-depth analysis of global headlines. Watch DD India in your country. Available for downlink in all Southeast Asian countries. STTV broadcast is available through the satellite GSAT 17 at 93.5 degrees east. HDTV broadcast is available through the satellite GSAT 10 at 83 degrees east. For technical details, scan here. Switch to DD India now.
Welcome back to News on the Hour. An update now on nationwide COVID-19 vaccination drive. The cumulative number of COVID-19 vaccine doses administered in the country has crossed 7.59 crore. And as per the latest update, a total of 7 crore 59 lakh 79,651 vaccine doses have so far been given across the country. A total of 27 lakh 38,972 vaccine doses were given on Saturday. That's the 78th day of nationwide COVID-19 vaccination drive. Now, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has received his second dose of COVID-19 vaccine at the AIIMS in New Delhi today. The Vice President has urged the countrymen to get themselves vaccinated immediately and everyone to continue to follow all the precautions in view of the surge in cases in some parts of the country. The first jab of the COVID vaccine was given to him on the 1st of March in Chennai. Well, there you have that tweet there by the Vice President saying, I quote him, took the second dose of COVID-19 vaccine at AIIMS. Today, I appeal to all the eligible people to get themselves vaccinated immediately and everyone to continue to follow all the precautions there in view of the surge of COVID-19 cases across the country. And India's total active caseload has meanwhile reached 6,91,597. It now comprises 5.54% of the total positive cases in the country. Now, 8 states including Maharashtra, Karnataka, Chhattisgarh, Delhi, Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh, Punjab and Madhya Pradesh have shown a steep rise in the COVID-19 daily new cases. India's cumulative recoveries stand at 1 crore 16 lakh 29,289. The national recovery rate is 93.14%. Now, in India, the testing for COVID-19 is being conducted regularly. The country has so far tested more than 24 crore 81 lakh 25,908 people. And as per the Indian Council of Medical Research, the ICMR, 11 lakh 66,716 samples were tested yesterday. Now, in the wake of a sudden rise in COVID-19 cases in Maharashtra, the Pune authority has imposed certain restrictions to control the spread of the virus. And as per the orders, a 12-hour night curfew has been imposed since Saturday. The bars, hotels, restaurants and all religious places will remain closed. The order also states that no public function except funerals and weddings will be allowed. Now, schools and colleges will also remain closed till 30th April. But the factories in Pune will be allowed to operate normally. Meanwhile, the state government has decided that all the state board students across Maharashtra from class 1st to class 8th will be promoted to the next class without appearing for any examination. The state cabinet minister and the NCP leader Nawab Malik has urged people to follow all the SOPs to contain the spread of COVID-19 infections. And as the COVID-19 situation worsens in Bihar, all the schools, colleges and other educational institutions have been ordered to remain closed till the 12th of April. Also, all kinds of public programs and events have also been banned. Around 50 people are allowed for funeral services, while 100 people will be allowed at the weddings with strict adherence to COVID-19 guidelines. The Odisha government has imposed a night curfew in 10 districts between 10 at night to 5 in the morning from Monday in view of the rising COVID-19 cases. The districts where night curfew will be imposed are Sundargarh, Jharsuguda, Sambalpur, Bargarh, Bolangir, Nuapada, Kalahandi, Navrangpur, Koraput and Malkangiri. All the shops, commercial establishments, offices, institutions will remain closed and the movement of individuals will be prohibited between 10 at night to 5 in the morning except for essential activities. The district collectors have been allowed to impose any further restrictions or allow such activities as felt appropriate considering the local situation. The Jagannath temple in Puri will be closed for public every Sunday for sanitization. Now, with the rise in the COVID-19 cases during the last 1 month, the Karnataka government has issued a fresh set of guidelines ordering a ban on the use of gymnasiums and swimming pools, holding rallies and protests, while allowing operation of cinemas with only 50% seating capacity. However, on the request of the Karnataka Film Chambers of Commerce, the government has also modified its order on 50% seating capacity in theatres and permitted the industry to go full house till 7th of April. Now, as per the order, all the apartment complexes have been asked to shut the common facilities such as party halls and clubhouses. The new restrictions imposed by the government through the guidelines will be enforced till 20th April. The Union Health and Family Welfare Minister Dr. Harshvardhan has approved the National Policy for Rare Diseases 2021 on the 30th of March this year. The policy document has been uploaded on the website of the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. The Rare Diseases Policy aims to lower the high cost of treatment for rare diseases with increased focus on indigenous research with the help of a national consortium to be set out with the Department of Health Research, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare as convener. Increased focus of research and development and local production of the medicines will lower the cost of the treatment for rare diseases. The policy also envisages creation of a national hospital based on registry of the rare diseases so that adequate data is available for the definition of rare diseases and for research and development related to rare diseases within the country. The policy also focuses on early screening and prevention through primary and secondary health infrastructure such as health and wellness centers and district early intervention centers and through counseling for the high-risk parents. Screening will also be supported by Nidan Kendra set up by the Department of Biotechnology. And let's now shift focus and get you some updates now on the historic Dande March. While Mahatma Gandhi had left for Vanj from Daman on 3rd of April 1930 and treading on the path of Mahatma Gandhi, the Padyatris followed the same routes. They were welcomed by the people waiting there. Children, women and the locals welcomed the Padyatris. The Sikkim Chief Minister Prem Singh Thaman joined the Padyatris in Daman and accompanied the Padyatris up to Navsari. The Chief Minister has termed the Yatra historic and said the country is moving ahead on the path of progress after taking inspiration from Mahatma Gandhi's vision.
मैं तो बहुत खुश महसूस कर रहा हूँ क्योंकि ऐसा ऐतिहासिक जगह में हम पहली बार आया हूँ, वो भी ऐतिहासिक समय में जो भारत स्वातंत्र के 75 सालों का जो शुरुआत है 2022 में हो रहा है, तो इसके लिए मेरे लिए मैं खुशनसीब हूँ। इसके लिए मैं केंद्र सरकार, भारत सरकार को और मैं गुजरात सरकार को मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूँ, सिक्किम सरकार की तरफ से और सिक्किम का सारा जनता की तरफ से।
And with that, we are taking a short break here, but after we come back, we'll get you all the news from around the world and much more here on News in the Hour. Stay with us. Welcome back after the break. In time now for all the news from around the world. A 30-member Indian Army delegation arrived in Dhaka on Saturday to participate in a multinational military exercise named Shantir Ogroshena 2021. The multinational military exercise is being held from today onwards till the 12th of April. The theme of the exercise is robust peacekeeping operations. The event marks the birth centenary of the Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman and the golden jubilee of the liberation of Bangladesh. Apart from India, the military contingents from the Royal Bhutan Army, Sri Lankan Army, Bangladesh Army are also participating in the event. The Indian Army contingent for the events comprises 30 personnel including officers, the JCOs and the Jawans of a battalion from the Dogra regiment. The military observers from the US, UK, Turkey, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Kuwait and Singapore will also be in attendance throughout the exercise. And the Bangladesh government has announced a 7-day countrywide lockdown from Monday to curb the spread of COVID-19. Following up on the announcement, the Railways Ministry has suspended all the passenger train services once lockdown is imposed in the country. However, the freight trains will run as per normal schedule. The Civil Aviation Authority of Bangladesh has also decided to suspend all the domestic flights in the country from Monday in order to curb the spread of COVID-19. However, the operation of the international flights will not be affected by this decision. The Bangladeshis have the rush to stock up on the food before the lockdown. And in more news from around the world, Turkey has imposed new weekend lockdowns in most provinces after COVID-19 cases reached all-time highs nationwide. The Health Ministry data has shown that Turkey recorded 42,038 new COVID-19 cases in the last 24 hours. That's the highest level since the beginning of the pandemic. The cases have surged since the government eased measures to curb the pandemic in early March. The Turkish President Erdogan announced tighter measures against COVID-19 on Monday and said a full weekend lockdown will be in place for a month beginning from Friday. So the restaurants can only serve food for delivery and takeouts as part of the full weekend lockdowns that will be in place during the Islamic fasting month of Ramadan starting on 13th April. While Turkey's biggest city, Istanbul, and capital Ankara are among the high-risk cities, along with several Black Sea provinces, according to a pandemic map published by the Health Ministry. On Saturday, the drone images showed half-deserted streets in Istanbul and with the traffic visible on bridges and the highways. While Turkey has over 34,45,000 cases of COVID-19, along with the death toll past 32,000. Now, Brazilian police raided an illegal party at a nightclub in Sao Paulo on Saturday with dozens of people in attendance and little social distancing in an enclosed area. The armed police officers closed down the venue, that's a nightclub in the west of town, and detained some revelers. The state decree to curb the spread of COVID-19 prohibits crowding and requires the use of face masks. In a month, Sao Paulo's police has cracked down on more than 700 clandestine parties across the state and have also carried out around 14,495 inspections. Now, more than 330,297 have died from COVID-19 in Latin America's biggest country. It is the world's second highest total after the US, making Brazil the global epicenter of the outbreak due to a lack of federal restrictions and infectious new variant. And updates now on COVID-19 from across the world. The cases of COVID-19 globally has crossed the 13 crore mark. More than 13 lakh people worldwide have contracted COVID-19 so far, while over 10 crore 57 lakh have also recovered from the virus. The deadly virus has so far claimed more than 28 lakh 59,000 lives globally, and the US still remains the worst affected country by COVID-19. The country has reported more than 3 crore 13 lakh COVID-19 cases. Over 5,68,000 fatalities have so far been reported in the US. And moving on now to some other news. Well, the Suez Canal Authority has said that all the 422 ships stranded by the grounding of the giant container ship the Ever Given passed through the canal by Saturday, ending the backlog caused by the blockage. The U.S. Navy aircraft carrier USS Dwight D. Eisenhower was seen passing the Suez Canal on Friday. The international supply chains were thrown into disarray when the 400-meter-long Ever Given ran aground in the vital trade artery on 23rd of March, with the specialist rescue teams taking almost a week to free it after extensive dredging and repeated tugging operations. According to the chairman of the Suez Canal Authority, an SCA investigation began on 31st of March into what caused the vessel to run aground in the Suez Canal and block the waterway for 6 days. Now, Jordanian King Abdullah's half-brother and former Crown Prince Hamza bin Hussein was asked to halt actions used to target the country's security and stability. Earlier in 2004, King Abdullah dismissed Hamza as heir to the throne in a move that consolidated his power. Meanwhile, a Jordanian security source said that former royal envoy Sharif Hassan bin Zayed and Basim Ibrahim Awadallah, a long-time confidant of the king, and others were arrested on security grounds. The agency said Prince Hamza bin Hussein has not been arrested contrary to reports and deemed it false, adding that he is currently not subject to any restrictions or even house arrest. An update now from Myanmar, where the security forces opened fire on pro-democracy protests in Moinua on Saturday, killing at least 5 people. Meanwhile, the military stepped up its bid to stifle dissent with arrest warrants for a further 20 high-profile critiques. Despite the killing of more than 550 people by security forces since the 1st February coup, the protesters are coming out every day, often in small groups and small towns, to voice their opposition to the overthrowing of an elected government led by Aung San Suu Kyi and the return of the military rule. The protests were also held in Myanmar's second city, Mandalay. The military is also waging a campaign to control the flow of information, ordering the internet providers to cut wireless broadband from Friday. Now in the UK, hundreds of demonstrators joined a rally in central London on Saturday as part of a national weekend of action against a proposed new law that would give police extra powers to curb protests. The Police, Crime, Sentencing and Courts Bill aims to toughen measures officers can take to disperse demonstrations, such as imposing time and noise limits, which campaigners and activists fear would be used to curb dissent. Kill the Bill marches were held in dozens of towns and cities including London, Manchester and Bristol, supported by big campaign groups such as climate change campaigners, Extinction Rebellion and the Black Lives Matter movement. Now, since the bill was brought before Parliament last month, there have been sporadic protests, notably in Bristol, southwest England, where demonstrations turned violent with the officers and a police station bombarded with bricks and glass bottles and police vehicles set on fire. The British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has criticised what he described as disgraceful attacks on the officers, but protesters have accused police of using heavy-handed tactics. And moving on now, the UAE is hosting a climate dialogue for the West Asia and North Africa today. The climate dialogue would focus on national and regional preparations ahead of a United Nations climate summit to be held in Glasgow in November. The US Special Presidential Envoy for Climate, John Kerry, said on Saturday that climate change is an issue all the countries share and the US is not trying to tell anybody what to do when tackling the issue. Kerry said nations needed to transition in a way that makes sense as part of our efforts to narrow differences on climate change goals to slow the global warming. While later this year, world leaders will gather for the UN Climate Summit in Glasgow to build on a 2015 Paris Accord to halt the increase in global temperatures at the levels that would avoid the worst impacts of climate change. And in news now from Egypt, where a grand parade of 22 ancient Egyptian royal mummies in special capsules left the Egyptian Museum in central Cairo's Tahrir Square on Saturday to a new museum home where they can be displayed in greater splendor. The convoy transported 18 kings and 4 queens, mostly from the New Kingdom, to the National Museum of Egyptian Civilization in Fustat. The authorities shut down roads along the Nile for the elaborate ceremony designed to drum up interest in Egypt's rich collections of antiquities when tourism has almost entirely been stalled because of COVID-19 restrictions. The Egyptian archaeologist Zahi Hawa said each mummy had been placed in a special capsule filled with nitrogen to ensure protection. They were carried on the vehicles designed to cradle them and provide stability. The archaeologists discovered the mummies in 2 batches at the complex of a mortuary temples of Deir al-Bahari in Luxor and at the nearby Valley of the Kings from 1871. And time now to get you some sports news. Well, Ashley Barty successfully defended her Miami Open title, with the victory over Bianca. World number 1 Ashley Barty retained her Miami Open title after opponent Bianca was forced to retire injured in the second set of Saturday's final. The former US Open champion Bianca lost the opening set 6-3 and was then broken twice to fall 4-0 down in the second to the world number 1. And in the men's singles final, Italian Jannik Sinner will clash with Poland's Hubert Hurkacz today. Sinner defeated Roberto Bautista to become only the 4th team to reach the men's final in the 36-year history of the ATP Miami Masters. Poland's Hurkacz beat Russian 4th seed Andrei Rublev to reach the finals. And well, moving on, Easter is being celebrated across the world with traditional fervor and gaiety today. It signifies the resurrection of Jesus Christ after his crucifixion and death at the Calvary on Good Friday. Now, leading an Easter Vigil service scaled down due to COVID-19, Pope Francis said he hoped the dark times of the pandemic would end and that people could rediscover the grace of everyday life. This year has been the second consecutive Easter that all services are being attended by only about 200 people in a secondary altar or St. Peter's Basilica instead of the nearly 10,000 that the largest church in Christendom can hold. The service began 2 hours earlier than usual so that the participants could get home before a 10 p.m. curfew in Rome, which is under tough lockdown restrictions during the Easter weekend. Well, at the start of the service, the basilica was in darkness except for the flames from candles held by participants to signify the darkness in the world before Jesus. As the Pope, cardinals and bishops processed to the altar and a cantor chanted 3 times, the basilica's lights were turned on. Francis, marking the 9th Easter season of his pontificate, said the festival brought with it the hope for renewal on a personal as well as a global level. On Easter Sunday, that is today, the most important day in the Christian calendar, the Pope will deliver his message.
It is always possible to begin anew because there is a new life that God can awaken in us in spite of all our failures. From the rubble of our hearts, God can create a work of art. From the ruined remnants of our humanity, God can prepare a new history. In these dark months of the pandemic, let us listen to the risen Lord as he invites us to begin anew and never lose hope.
And Now, President Ramnath Kovind has sent his greetings to all the fellow citizens on the eve of Easter. In a message, the President has said, and I quote, "On the auspicious occasion of Easter, I extend my best wishes and heartiest congratulations to all the fellow citizens, especially from the Christian community living in India and abroad. This festival commemorating the resurrection of Jesus Christ is celebrated with joy all over the world. Jesus Christ is a symbol of humanity, forgiveness, sacrifice, compassion, and truth. His life teaches us peace, love, and fraternity. On this joyous occasion, let us follow these values which will strengthen the bond of love, affection, and harmony in our society and increase the happiness and prosperity in our nation." Unquote. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has also extended greetings and good wishes on the auspicious occasion of Easter. The Vice President in a tweet has said, and I quote, "Revered as the Savior of mankind, Jesus Christ illuminated a path of salvation for humanity through love, peace, compassion, and forgiveness. Let us celebrate Easter by being compassionate towards all the human beings. May this festival bring good health, peace, and harmony in our lives." Unquote. And as the world celebrates Easter today, Prime Minister Modi has conveyed his greetings in a tweet. The Prime Minister has said, and I quote, "Greetings on Easter. On this day, we remember the pious teachings of Jesus Christ. His emphasis on social empowerment inspires millions across the world." Unquote. Now, Easter rituals are being observed across Kerala by different churches commemorating the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Archbishop Head of Syro Malankara Catholic Church, Thiruvananthapuram, held the Easter prayers. Now, the Easter rituals are also being observed in Kochi's churches. Special Easter Holy Mass took place in the churches of Kochi. Now, Easter Sunday, that's the resurrection of Jesus Christ after his crucifixion to redeem the world, is being celebrated in Mizoram with religious solemnity and gaiety by different church denominations. The sunrise service proclaiming he's arisen and delivering sermons observed early this morning, mostly by youth members of different church denominations. Now, chocolate eggs in all shapes and sizes lined the shelves of the French chocolatier Patrick Roger's flagship store in Paris on Saturday as customers look to indulge themselves in the traditional Easter sweets before a new lockdown kicks in across France. A queue of people formed outside Roger's shop in the capital's Madeleine Square on the eve of Easter Sunday today, when the 4-week nationwide lockdown France's third is set to commence. Now, from today, only businesses deemed essential by the government can remain open. However, chocolate shops are part of that list, Rogers said, a relief for his staff of around 50 people. Well, Rogers' creations go beyond the common chocolate egg that is synonymous with the chocolate sector accounts for 3 billion euros of earnings yearly, according to latest figures from France's Chocolate Union. Now, nearly 4% of the sales take place in the Easter. That's the second busiest period for chocolatiers next to Christmas. The government has estimated that the new lockdown measures would force the temporary closure of 150,000 businesses across the country at a cost of 11 billion euros per month. Although the artist says his work is a labor of love above all. And with that, it's a wrap on News on the Hour. We wish you a happy Easter and happy and safe Sunday once again. And before we leave for today, we are in fact leaving you with the glimpses of a baby capybara who has found a new family at the Cali Zoo after his mother abandoned it soon after the birth last December. Take a look at those very cute visuals that the zoo hopes that in a couple of months, she'll in fact be able to get stronger there with time. Take a look at those visuals and we wish you a very great and a safe day ahead. Thanks for being with us.